What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Earn It, Save It, Invest It. This is week 18 of my $100,000 challenge where I'm taking $7,354 and turning it into $100,000. So this is my week 18 update where I'm going to go over what I've done, where my portfolio is currently, and what I think about the market, where I think it's going to be going. So it's going to be a quick one today, but please go ahead and give a like and subscribe. And if you like this stuff, but yeah, let's get into it really quickly. As you can see, my road to $100,000 currently is at $9,471.42. Just on Friday, it went down about 3.5%. It was somewhat of a bloodbath, kind of. Again, with HIMS, if you follow me at all, I sold some of it. I sold 20% of my shares at around 58 something. Because I said, I think it can get to 60, but I think October is going to be hard. I just think October is going to be hard for HIMS, and so far it has been. Since then, it's gone down well over 10% since I've sold. Just yesterday, it went down 9%. And then as you can see, most of my stocks went down. The only one that didn't was Fubo. Everything else went down. TQQQ, Celsius, Nike, Meta, Amazon, everything went down. I've been predicting somewhat of a correction happening. It does not mean this is the start of it, but I do think at some point here in the next month or so, we're kind of due for a correction. The way the market is, we're kind of due for a correction. So that's my point, which is why you can see I have cash at 10%. I have over $1,000 worth of just straight cash that I'm really ready to deploy once this correction that I do think is going to happen happens. This is where my portfolio is at right now. So since just this week, I went up, let's do it like this. I went up, I went down $141 in investments, but I always put in $50 every week. So that puts my total at 9,471 when I started the week at 9,563. So I didn't do too good in the week. As you can see over here, compared to the rest of the market, right? I didn't do as good as everyone else. Now, the market actually was up on the week, even though it had like kind of a bad Friday, and some of my stocks, mostly HIMS, had a bad week. All the indexes ended up positive, and I did not. I ended up the worst. So I blame HIMS, but that's just how it is. But this is since I started the challenge, right? I started at $7,354, right? $7,354. I've deposited $900 over the total of 18 weeks. And my investments have gone up $1,200, so that puts me at $9,471. So that's pretty good, from the start of the challenge. That's where I'm at. Then, as you can see, this is the chart. Now, I have, been up and down throughout this whole time. I've had a lot more volatility due to HIMS, so that's just what it is. I still have a decent amount. I had 50 shares, now I'm just down to 40, but when I say just down, I did cut 20%, but not a decent amount to really stop the volatility that it brings and presents to my portfolio. It still is like, 23%, 24% of my whole portfolio, right? So since I started this challenge, I'm up 15%. That's June 2nd. I am in third place behind the Russell 2000 at number 1, which is crazy, and then the NASDAQ, of course. S&P leads the Dow, and that's the only one it leads because Dow is in the back. So that's interesting to see that the Russell 2000 is at 20% and leading the whole pack of all the indexes. Now, for my transactions this week, I did buy Fubo. I bought $10 shares at $3.99. Ended up being around $40. Hey, that's not right. The $40 at $3.99 essentially, right? Basically $4. As close to 4 as you can get. And then of course I deposited $50. So I can't, I ended up being positive $10 in the total of like what I was buying and, depositing. I probably should have bought maybe 12, so that way it would have been closer to 50 in, 50 out. But I bought 10, and hey, now I can actually buy those two at a cheaper price, right? Fubo is cheaper than this purchase price that I had right there. So this is starting week 1, or this is the kind of like the goals, right? So this is week 1, 2, 3, and it goes all the way down. Now I do have this challenge for 10 years, right? That'd be 520 weeks. Now I know that's a long time for people to even imagine, but I'm telling you, if I get there in 10 years, I'll get to another million a lot quicker. And if I do this, I'll be doing it with only $200 a month and just some decent investing. Now I am praying and hoping I can get there quicker. And it's gonna be a lot more than prayers and all that stuff, right? I have to do the work. I have to look at all the income balance sheets and the income statements and all that stuff, right? I have to make sure a business is willing or able to go through a recession and come out the other end being okay. All kinds of different things that I have to put into account, as well as, okay, well, which stock is going to see a lot of potential, which stock is going to, see some really good returns, that maybe is higher risk, higher reward, but I put less at risk, so that way I can get a really high reward if it ends up being rewardful, right? So week 18, I'm at $9,471.42. As you can see, my goal is to be at 8,760. So I am beating that goal right now. And as you can see, initially the numbers creeped up a little bit slower. Now these numbers, my goals, are going to be starting to get really high really quick, right? By the end of my first year, June 2nd of 2026, I should be at, 11,671. Not double, right? But at 104 weeks, I'll be at over double, right? So in 2 years, I should be at over double what I have of what I started at, right? That's the goal. Maybe I'm at 20, maybe I'm at 25, maybe I'm at 15. Let's see. But it's going to be interesting. It's just a goal. This is also for accountability for myself, and let's see what happens. This is the AAII sentiment, investor sentiment. So basically, this is how the investors are feeling, right? Are they feeling bullish? Are they feeling bearish? Or they're just kind of neutral? Now, this is a very interesting, right? The fact that we just haven't moved. The bulls haven't really moved. The bears really haven't moved. It's been a little bit right there, but it's just, it kind of stayed neutral. So it's very interesting on what this next week is going to be. Because again, this week, we started off okay, and then we had a bad ending to it. So if we end up having a good start to the week, it'll be interesting. I don't know. It will be interesting. Let's see. Do you hold gold or other precious metals in your portfolio, either directly? No, I do not. Neither do I. That's 55% of people. Yes, I own gold or other precious metal. 18. Yes, I own both and mining companies. I just own mining companies that focus, and then I'm considering adding gold to my portfolio. Yeah, I do not have any gold or precious metals. Haven't done that yet. My portfolio is too small for me to really be thinking about that right now. I'm thinking about more, not high risk, high reward, but higher risk, high reward than I think precious metals provides. And so here we go. I'm at, this is the Fear and Greed Index, the CNN Fear and Greed Index. So you can see we're kind of in the neutral zone, and we've been stuck here for a little while. And I said that's where I think we'll be. I don't know if we'll pop out into the greed. I do think we are going to jump into this fear eventually here. But if we go into the greed, we're not getting past that. We won't get past that. We can't get too much more greedy from here. I don't think we can. And one of the reasons is here, we're going to be shutting the government down. It is shut down, and no one really sees an end in sight. No one can really see, hey, Trump is going to give in, or the Democrats are going to give in. Like, people, either side does not want to give in. So it's going to be very interesting to see who gives in first, what's going to happen, and what kind of effect that will have on the market, because that will have an effect on the market. And again, not just in terms of numbers and stuff like that, But the market is very emotional. The market is very emotional. And so I'm going to go over really quick. Let me see here. Uh-oh. All right, this is the QQQ, right? Now, this is what I kind of predicted. I predicted this triangle happening. All these triangles represent at least a 10% or more drop in the market. Now, right here we have a 24% that we just had with the big tariff day, right? Trump announced all the tariffs, and then, you know, the market went insane. It went insane. The VIX just jumped insanely. Now, the VIX has just been chill, right? It's been chill since that whole thing happened, right? And I've just been kind of tracking the market. This was obviously less than 10% right here, but tracking the market, and I'm seeing these triangles, and I'm looking at how the market has been over the last 5 years or so, and it just seems that, yeah, like we're due for some 10% or more correction, right? Now, when that correction happens, you never want to try to time the market, you know, just keep buying, but maybe be a little bit more hesitant, maybe buy a little bit less, store a little bit more cash like I did, right? Took a little bit of profits off the table on some, and I thought, hey, this is a very volatile time. HIMS is very volatile, and it always goes down. Not always, but when it goes down a lot. And I do believe that if HIMS has a bad month, it's going to be really bad. And so this is the market right now as it stands. And so since we had that big drop, right, we came back up, and then we finally started reaching new all-time highs, it took 126 days total, right, to go from there to there. Then after that, we've gone 101 days straight of just almost hitting all-time highs. Yeah, we had a little like boop right there at the end of July, and then right here in the middle of August, we had a little bit of a bad week. That was it. Ever since then, that's it, right? We've had 2 bad days and a bad week. Other than that, it's been fine, right? Christmas is okay. We're okay with Christmas. A little red and mixed in with the green, we're okay with that as long as it keeps going up. But when does this market turn on us? When does the market turn? It's going to turn eventually, right? The market has to turn eventually. Oh, there we go. Give a like and subscribe. The market has to turn eventually. So just be prepared. You know, I have some of that. I have $1,000 in cash, and I just sold some of the HIMS to get off. Let me actually show you really quick HIMS. I mean, look at the seasonality of this thing, right? In October, it's 33% positive, right? So usually 66% of the times it's going to be negative. It's going to give you negative gains. But just look at 2025. Just look at this year. Started at 54%, right? Up 54, up 20, down 34, up 12, up 70, minus 12, up 32, minus 36, up 33. I mean, some of those could have been rounded up, but still, like, those are big, big numbers, right? You only had the April, which was 12, and June, which was 12, both up and a down. And everything else was 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% gains or losses. I mean, they were big, right? We had two months of 30+% drops. So if HIMS goes down, I do believe it's going to go down 25% or so, right? So that's just kind of where I stand right now. You know, go ahead and please give a like and subscribe if you like my content. This is my weekly update, and yeah, I'm just trying to do what I can to earn some money in this market, keep investing, and you know, I'm 36 years old. You know, I don't know how long I plan on doing all of this. Again, if it goes until that whole 10 years, I'll be doing this till I'm 46 years old. I could be doing it till I'm 50. I don't know exactly, but I will be always investing in the stock market, trying to get other people invested in the stock market, especially parents, to get their kids involved. My kids have portfolios right now. I'll actually show you. Let me show you one of their portfolios, right? Let me show you my daughter's. Okay, this is her portfolio, right? She has all of these stocks. Now, granted, some of them she would have no idea what really AMD is, right? But she knows what Amazon is. She knows the cheesecake. We go to the cheesecake. Celsius, I just knew I was going to buy it at a good price. I got it at 25 for her. You know, Fubo, again, something, Hims, these are things that they don't, you know, she really doesn't know, but I just knew I was going to get a good price. Facebook, she does know Instagram and stuff, but like I'll let her watch videos like with me, of course, not by herself. Microsoft all around us. I use Windows, all that, right? Nike, we wear Nike. Plays Dave & Buster's. Now, this is actually one of our losers. It's one of the only big losers. Nike's a little bit, obviously, and Target, but Dave & Buster's is a big loser. But we go to Dave & Buster's, and it gets my kids understanding, hey, I own a piece of this company, you know, and to understand and just have that mentality, right? So even though we bought at 36 and it's at 18, I only bought one share. I only bought one share because I'm not trying to go hard on all this stuff, right? I do invest a little bit more into like a Meta or something like that, but Dave & Buster's, no. A PayPal, again, something where not much, I bought one share, right? SPXL, this I bought actually when that was a big crash. That was this year? It might have been this year. Yeah, it might have been from that big crash this year. I said, this is not lasting. And so I bought a share of SPXL. And she's also owned TQQQ for a while, so that's doing really well. And then Target, of course, that's the other losing one. But again, to have, you know, she has a total of $4,000 in her account right now, right? And if she just grows that, you know, let's do a compounding interest calculator really quick. If my daughter has $4,000 in her account, she's 10 years old, so let's say she says, let's just go 50, right? So she's 60 years old. Rate of return, let's just do a 12%, right? She's going to invest no more money into it, $0. Let me zoom in on this. No, I'm going to zoom in on this. Oh no, I lost it. No, where'd it go? Look at that. Your estimated savings is $1 million. $156,008, and don't forget your 76 cents. And you contributed $4,000. Now, there's no guarantee, right? If you invest all the $4,000 right now, right before the stock market goes through it's like 2022, right? Obviously that changes things, but you have to remember, this is why you start young. That's why you start young, because my daughter has 50 years for this $4,000 to go to work. You know, like over the 50 years, that's going to be a long time. And there's going to be plenty of stock market crashes. There's going to be stock market booms. And as long as we're just in the market, we'll do fine. Because over the long period of time, the market will go up, right? No one wants the stock market to just continue to go down and down and down. Then it's going to be mayhem, right? So, you know, and again, investing into good stocks, right? Having some in index funds, having some in individual companies. And so, yeah, you know, people can do this easily. I mean, look, to spend $4,000 and then you get $1 million back. I mean, gee, you know, and look, this is why though. Look, she has $4,000 by year 10. Year 10, it's only at 12. Year 10, it's only $12,000. But then it gets to $1 million. Year 15, 21,000. 25, it's only at 60,000, 68,000. 35, 211,000 now, right? But you have to imagine that 211,000 is now compounding 10% a year, right? By year 50. I don't know. So this is why I started this channel. This is why I started doing this. I want to reach out to people, and not many people are going to be watching it at this point in the video, but I hope I reach out to a few people, and maybe over time I get a group of people together. It's like, hey, let's really get this thing going. Let's get parents to really, really invest into their children. I know Donald Trump came out, and I think it's been proposed many times before, but I just remember seeing it in the news recently about, Donald Trump wanting to put like a $5,000 savings into the market for every kid born, this year, something like that. I just think that is a great idea, regardless of political stance. I don't care who proposed it. I don't care who finalizes it. I just think that's a great thing, because if we all just had $5,000, I mean, $5,000 working for 60 years. Let's just do this math really quick. Let's just do this math. Let's do this math really quick. $5,000 for 60 years, and let's do not 6,000 years. Let's do 10%. You're at 1.5 million. Every person can retire with 1.5. Now I understand 65 years, 1.5 million is not going to be 1.5 million. But this is why you invest, and you have to beat, you have to beat inflation. And so this is the one way to beat it. So yeah, anyway, that's my big speech. Again, I just want to help out people. This is my weekly update. So yeah, please give a like and subscribe. Love you all. Thank you all for everything. And yeah, don't forget to earn it, save it, invest it, buy low, sell high. I want assets, not liabilities, and you can count on compounded interest.